Yo, what did you do, everybody? It's nice to see you. I am very inspired by that heavy rhythm shit by HURTBOX and Ominous as well. They made Run That Again, and it's really fire. And the second drop specifically really got me worked up, so I wanted to remake it and show you guys how I did it. And I want you to get the pack too. The Ominous pack is what I'm using a lot here for the drums, and I use it all the time in all my other songs. So that Avant Ominous pack will be linked in the description. That will be my affiliate link as well. And then this whole project will be in the Patreon too. I'm gonna show you this bass maker, how I made these rhythm basses, but the sub bass pitch bending is really the main thing. That's the fire. So let's check it out.
Yeah, Ominous. Yeah, run that one again.
Two basses.
Yeah, run that again, run that one again, run that again, run that one again, run that again, run that one again, run that again, run that one again. Yeah, run that again, run that one again. Ominous.
This is pretty dope, and I think I'm gonna probably flip this song too and make my own rendition of it, and I think that'll be really cool. But the drums are really important, you know. Without this, we can't really start. This is the rhythm, and I'm using a shaker from the Culture Pack. You know, the drum and bass Culture Pack from Avant is really amazing too, and I just got one of those shakers. Big fat kick. This is the Ominous Kick 15. It says F sharp on it, but I tuned it -2. I tuned it to E. This, I believe, is an E minor, so that's basically what everything is going off of, the note E. And then this is the clap 19. Remember, this is the Avant Ominous pack right here. And this is an extra snare that I'm layering with the clap. And then this is the drum rack. I don't usually use drum racks, but I thought it would be fun just to mix it up and use my drum rack. I will be adding reverbs and EQs to each one of these individual drum hits as I do it. And then I'll be processing all of them as a whole as well, like with this drum bus too. But yeah, so. Easy pattern. This is like more of a shaker acting as the hat, but rhythm formation with these drums, right? Fat rhythm drums, and I'm adding this drum bus to make sure everything is pumped up a bit. 20% drive, 24% crunch, to really just pump up the jam, you know? The kick has its lows, but the claps and the snares, I'm gonna cut the lows out. So that's why you see this EQ here. And then I added some reverb on the clap too. Easy enough. The shaker I glue compressed. I made it up 7 dB gain, and the threshold's -7 dB. Quiet. Louder. Perfect. So we now can go into the sub. So let's listen just for the sub. I mean, when I'm at Lost Lands and at the festivals and I'm just like jamming and dancing and going crazy, I'm like studying the sub at the same time. And I'm telling you, a lot of the subs are pitch bending like this. And you may not know it at the time when you hear it, but it's really cool. It's a really cool thing to see. I also analyzed the pitch of the sub with Melodyne just to see how much it was like pitching and bending. And it was really cool to see that too. But I'm kind of just bending it my own way, you know, however I think sounds cool. But I'm starting with the E note. E0, right? That's root basically for us right now. And pitch bend and Serum 2 will be automated. So we're going to you can hit configure, click on this and hit configure again. And then this pitch bend section will come up. We can automate that little triangle here. So you'll see that we're starting at 4.10 and going down to -5. This is one note here. So every note I'm doing this slant down pitch bend formation, and then I'm just duplicating the automation. But then when I did that, I was like, that's fine, but I wanted a little bit of variation. So that's what I did. You'll see the second one is a little bit higher than the first. Goes up to 6.24. This still goes down the same. And then I have these two different ones, and then I duplicate these, and that is my final pitch bend. And I can change this however I want, do whatever I want with it. You guys have fun and, you know, make your own sound. But this is where I landed. You can go higher if you wanted, go lower. So you can make all kinds of really sick stuff, but yeah, really good fun time. Serum 2 is doing some basic stuff. Sine wave, random 0. Wave. Actually, this isn't the regular sine wave. This is the analog BD sine. My bad. right here. This is the sine wave I like to use when I want more harmonics, because when I was studying their sub, it's like super fat, lots of harmonics, clean harmonics, right? Not just overloaded. So I tried to do everything I can to get some clean harmonics. And this was the first thing I did, was choosing this wavetable. The wavetable positions at 159 right now, but if you move it, it will be different up here. And I want you to see it visually what happens if I go like all the way up here. I have this sine wave variation, and then I can go all the way down to the regular, go midway, it starts to like change. So I just used my ears and listened and found my favorite section there. This is one knob that you can change whenever you want. The level, the volume here is at 27%. LFO goes on it, and it only goes up to 75%. So this is adding movement while still keeping the sub sustained. Really helpful. The shape is rounded out. You see I got these slants and I turned them up. Rates at half. So it's only going halfway through the shape, basically. You technically don't even need to do anything back here. All right, no effects, super simple sub, sine wave. We want to start with the sine wave and then add beautiful harmonics. So some of the harmonics came from the wavetable. Let's see what it sounds like without the saturator and without this kick tight. See these harmonics here on the EQ8? These are coming from the wavetable. Then we had the saturator, 7 dB drive, 100% dry wet. Some fat harmonics. Kick tight. This is a corpus preset, and we're tuning this knob to our root note, which is E0. The gain is at 0 as well. Turning it up, getting it as loud as we can. We want this to be fat. And this erosion is adding high frequency white noise. It's kind of wide here. Look at these settings, copy these settings. 30% is all we're doing. This sub though is too loud. And I use my left meter to tell. I need it to be -8 maximum. You know, we really can't go past that. And we want to be like -9, -8 the whole time if we want to be super loud, super fat, ready for the festival. So that's my goal here. Right now, we're way louder than that. Fucking -4, not acceptable. So this EQ8 is going to turn down some of the frequencies around 1,000, just to help it blend with everything else. Puts more focus here. I'm turning up these harmonics just a little bit, around 100. Once again, still just designing it, shaping it. And once I like that, then I'll just turn down the gain to get it to the level that we need. So -4.4 dB gain here. Bass mono is also turned on because I want all the frequencies underneath. We can choose 200 to 500, doesn't really matter, but all the frequencies underneath 500 are mono in the middle. And then 500 above, so 500 to 10,000 can be wide if I designed them to be wide, which I did with the erosion. You know, the erosion's wide, that white noise. So if I want it to stay wide, I filter it that way. The lefts are -8.4. That's perfect. That's where we want to be. So now we have a big fat sub with lots of harmonics, and then we mixed it down to where it needs to be. All right, so this playing with the bass. Bass is the same note, E0, and this bass has some post-processing that's pretty simple. But the first thing I want you to do is just throw on the OTT and saturator to start increasing the gain right away. So OTT 11 dB, 100%, 139 time. Saturator 9 dB drive and 85% dry wet. This right away will get things loud and ready to go. And then the next thing we're going to do is add width, make it wider, and we'll have a rack for that. And then we also use this EQ to cut all the lows out and cut some of the mud out so that it fits with that big ass sub that we just made. Then utility, not doing anything. We can delete this, and G-clip will make sure it doesn't go past 0. It just stops it perfectly so we're not clipping. And that's about it. So put those two post-processing on right away, and let's get into Serum because we're making this cool patch. It's cool because I made like 2 macros that you can use if you want to make a lot of other basses. The whole goal is to have fun, make basses. And when I was listening to his bass, it sounded more harmonic and like there was multiple, almost like a chord, you know, so I wanted to do something similar. So you'll see this wavetable is +7, so is this one, and this wavetable is -2, and that's where we're going to start. Oscillator A, actually I'll turn the post-processing off too, but oscillator A is squelchy 3, that's going to be in spectral, and it's octave -2, so we're going like below 0. I'll just solo just the bass for now. The thing about this is that we're going to make it move a little bit, and we're going to mainly use it to get the PD from B activated. So once we turn on B, the sound starts to develop, but we'll get into that soon. First, on oscillator A, turn on PD from B, go up to 51%. Then you're gonna get LFO1 and put it on that knob going up 9%. You also wanna make the shape, this tight shape here. Really important that we shape it this way so it's not so big, it's more plucky. Rate 1.4, triplets is turned on, and wavetable positions at 107. LFO goes on that, and it goes up 7%. So usually it's like this, just pull it back to 7%. Level all the way down. LFO goes on the level. You get the little squiggly. Oscillator B turns on, goes +7 semitones, which is the 5th of the scale, and levels all the way down. LFO goes on it, and it only goes up to 71. And then the wavetable position is at 57. Cool. All right, so we're going to add more. So we add oscillator C. We go to spectral again, go to odd pass, +7, level all the way down. LFO goes on it, and it goes up 69, naturally. Video position 256. Just adding more frequencies. Because the levels are down and so plucky, it's minimal. We get this noise oscillator, and we use it. These Serum 2 noises are new, and we use the cicadas. And this is like adding new tonality. I could go down pitch. And I can mess with the different ones. So all of these you can mess with, but it's like adding extra texture layers on it. We're adding a filter flange minus in flanges, and then cutoff is at 6222. ABC is on. Key tracking is also on. Resonance 74, drive 60. And this macro over here, macro 2, put on the cutoff and have it go all the way up, because we're going to be using that later. After you put this macro on to that cutoff, you can move macro 2 to 49 to get the exact sound that we're playing right now. Getting a little complex, but you should be able to follow still. If not, please just leave a comment below. Hit me up on my Instagram or Discord. Ask me questions. I can help you with any of this stuff. You already know. All right, effects. Pressor. We need this to get louder, so multiband gain is turned up a lot. 20 dB. Convolver is dope, cool convolution reverb. And then we're going to get coloration, growlish, size 144, tone 19, decay 347. Those 3 knobs that we just mentioned, you can change however you want and make it different if you want. And then the convolution wet's at 58%. It's a huge part of the sound. These are convolution reverb. So like I said, you can change the size. Okay. Also, I do want to show you the other macro real quick. Actually, it's on 3 things, so we'll do that at the end. Flanger goes on. Oh, I accidentally had that reverb filter on. I'm turning off that filter right here. We're going to go flanger next. Adding a little bit of movement. The mix is only at 32%, so it's barely anything. And then the filter is at reverb filter, adding extra tonality. Resonance 24, drives at 29. And you'll see here, we're getting like this plucky, fast transienty sound, and it has a little bit of attack. We kind of add this metallic filter on top of it and a metallic reverb with it. And, you know, it's really fun. There's a lot of these knobs that you can move. So I made this variations knob so that we can do that. So I added macro 1 to the wavetable position of oscillator A, goes up 14. I put it on oscillator B, goes up 54. And then I put it on oscillator C, and I turn it backwards, -52. So when I move this knob, it will move all 3 knobs at the same time and make variations with the bass. So let's try that now. Let's hear in the mix. Really cool. So basically bass 1 up here is one of the variations. So all I did was change this knob 25, and I changed this knob to 92, and that's what made this bass over here. But on bass 2, you'll see the knob is 0 for variations and the filter is at 49. So different positions on just the macros. And technically, I mean, we could just do this for 10 minutes, you know, just keep doing new basses and so many different ways to experiment. That's the key. That's the goal that I want you guys to do, is just constantly experiment and explore and make new things that haven't been made before, but are in the realm that you like. It's all about innovating and having a fat sub with it. You know, the sub is holding it down. I don't know if you noticed, but this bass is just, you know, mids, highs, and it has its own space, and the sub has its own space, and they're fitting together, and that's really good. Now, right now, I don't know if you could tell, but it's super muddy because we haven't finished the processing here. We need the CQA. It's really important that we cut these lows in the bass, or else it'll be muddy like this. So that's important. We're cutting at 167. And we also want to make this wider. So I have this wide rack, which is this Haas effect. To make the rack, I just got the Haas effect and I hit Command G, which I can show you right now. Command G, the Haas effect. Click on these 3 lines to open up your chains, and you'll right click here and hit Create Chain. That's how you're going to do this. So that's what I did here. We have the Haas effect, and I added an extra EQ8 right after the Haas effect. And that means it's only in this chain, which is here. I turned it down -1.5. This is the wide version of the bass. Then the one underneath is the mono version. We can call it mono, and we can call this one wide. And I turned the mono one down -5. So the one in the middle is turned down a little bit. The one that's wide is a little bit louder, but they're both playing together to make sure we got a full stereo image. And the wide version makes it sound bigger and fuller, which is great. Plus, there's 2 chains going together. So that means it's louder at the same time, knocking out 2 birds in 1 stone. But just remember, the wide version, we're usually going to remove those lows and those mids. So we did at 160. The mono version, the one in the middle, can keep those low mids, keep that beef. That's really helpful. So yeah, and then the G clip finishes this. So that's the whole processing chain for this. Simple stuff.
Yeah, run that one.
You could just make fat rhythm racks. I got these fat rhythm drums. Remember, all this stuff's going to be in the Patreon, like this drum rack and all these basses and anything else you guys want, just put in the comments below. I'm going to be knocking out a lot of videos here soon. And if you need lessons or anything like that, just hit me up. I can help you get to where you need as fast as you want. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, you know, and a lot of practice. It's really fun once you get into a flow and you can just explore and have fun. So I want to get you there for sure. Have a good day, guys. Peace out. Stay fresh. And shout out HURTBOX and AweminuS for this amazing song. Peace.